Blah blam. We are on concurrent streaming. Should I set up my Instagram feed as well? I think I shall. You bear with me. This will be available. We are live in 3 places right now. You can view this on your Facebook. You can see this on YouTube. And I'm about to link it up as well with my, live. There we go. With my Instagram, all 3, baby. You can't see, I've got Biggie Smalls behind me right now. Counting cash, counting paper, as they say, as the kids like to say. So, welcome to the all-new Kaz Effect, Chef Kaz, all things My Universe podcast, Braincast. I have a different name for this thing every day. And that brings me to my point. You guys see this mic setup? Are you kidding me? Like, this is my studio right here. I got to fix this situation. But what I did was a few little alterations, and I'll talk about this more in depth. But one is, hopefully, the sound quality is pretty good. I've got this new mic here, this Yeti mic. I'm pretty stoked about that. Hopefully, you're hearing me loud and clear. If you are, I see you clicking social there on the Instagram. Appreciate you. So wherever you're watching today, drop a shout. I'll give you a shout on the other channels. If you want me to share any of your stuff, happy to do that too. So yeah, I got the lighting set up, and then I switched out my chair. I was like noticing how I was all like slumped over, and I changed out of my chair onto sitting on a ball, one of these plyo balls, yoga balls. So that's another small adjustment. And then obviously today I'm not driving, so some news just in my life. My training location, Silver Wolf Training, is temporarily closed. So we're just kind of adjusting, going with it for Capoeira, for my own training. Linked up with Movement Fitness. So pretty stoked about training over there. And then I've got a temporary spot for my Las Vegas Capoeira Academy classes right now to continue to build my program and support my team. So, in the interim, there's just been a lot going on, a lot of change. Excuse me, a lot of change, but also, what's up, Pop-Up Chef Yorkshire? I see you there on Instagram. Appreciate you guys. Check out my Instagram, Chef Kaz Official. All right, rocking the old school Chef Kaz shirt here. So today's topic is about the power of awareness that awareness of choice presents. The power that awareness of choice presents. And I gave this whole intro monologue about how I've had shifts going on, catching up, setting up my new studio, all this. For me, Instagram fell down. Hold on, too much energy. So for me, one of the things I'm noticing with myself is there's been a lot of changes. I think a lot of people had more maybe going on in the beginning of COVID. Maybe you've adjusted. Maybe you've kind of created a routine for yourself at this point. But there are changes that continue to happen. And I think what happened to me, and tell me if you can relate to this, what happened to me was I built a nice routine around, especially in this case, around my training, around the gym that I train out of, having my program there. And when I was forced to change the routine because the facility closed, it really threw me off a bit. And my first physio-emotional response, as I like to talk about, not a physiological response, physio-emotional response. My first physio-emotional response was, it wasn't a good one. It wasn't positive. It wasn't, I was disappointed. I was bummed out. It took my energy. It messed up my plans. there were a lot of different states, and honestly, kind of just got feeling down and challenged, and wasn't very happy about that whole situation. And I spent a few days just kind of processing. I spent some time reflecting. I wanted to come up with a solution for our program so we could continue to have classes. I thought about my own training, how I was going to, do that, proceed with that. I just continued to reflect. And what I've kind of been realizing about this podcast, to go more macro here, is this podcast in a lot of ways is a philosophical podcast. And I talked about this, I think, on one of the YouTube videos that I did, where I said, I've kind of got the motivational side, right? People see me as like, oh, I'm a motivator. I give good energy. I give people, people get uplifted. People get energized. People get, if you watch this, if you listen to this, it's going to, improve not just your life, as in give you some idea that you can, like, now you're going to change your whole life. But a lot of times people just tell me, like, I have a good energy, that they get some of that energy from watching. I appreciate that. And honestly, like, guys, when I do this stuff, that kind of feedback, that's honestly probably as much as anything what keeps me doing. Some people think I'm just like, I don't know, just trying to get maybe like recognition or something like that. And I'm like, here's the thing. When I actually make an impact through doing this, then it's like, now it's like, I'm glad I'm doing it. It's not for me, right? Like, I could record this and watch it for myself. But when you put something out there and you actually make an impact on people's lives, that's significant. And I've been doing, you may have caught my my car series where I'm driving and I'm kind of talking. And part of that, like I said in the beginning, if you watch the series from the beginning, was I was developing a habit, right? One of the books that I love, James Clear, Atomic Habits, is a very powerful. It's a very powerful insight into how you can, how habits are formed, and how you can utilize, formulas that work to form habits that benefit your life. So I listened to that book, and I listened to it a few times. Well, I really just listened to him talking about the books. You don't even really need to read the book. You just can listen to his lectures. He covers all the information. So I used that formula to build some habits. And one of those habits was doing that daily video, doing that daily podcast, And a lot of that was like more motivational, but part of that, excuse me, was because I was on my way to the gym. And, when you're going to the gym, it's like you're already kind of fired up. I might already be drinking my pre-workout. But there was also the fact I was driving. It's like, obviously not the best way to do this. There was, the fact of it was a limited amount of time that I was able to do that. I had the 12, 15-minute kind of cap. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I follow a lot of people who do like more of what's called long form podcasting. Like Joe Rogan is the one of the popular examples. But I like to go more into depth. And what I realized again about myself and the purpose and the approach with this is it's not just philosophical. It's not just motivational. It's not just there's some scientific. I aim to bring you guys like knowledge. Here's some empirical data. That's my background. I got my degree up there. So basically, like, maybe I'll put the degree over here. I can get that a shot. That's not a bad idea. So see, that's the thing. Constant improvement. So again, a lot of this I started to realize it's much more almost philosophical. And what I mean by that is, philosophy is a way of thinking. It's an approach to life. It's an approach to experience. It's an approach to what, how you perceive your version of living. Everyone has a different perception of not just red or, I'm seeing this as red and you see this as blue, but, we interpret the world differently, but we also act in the world differently. And we, of course, act based on our interpretation. But I'm just very inherently a philosophical person. I miss kind of having these philosophical investigations, these philosophical reflections. And look, when I studied philosophy, as I said, my bachelor's degree is in biology, but also in philosophy. When I studied philosophy, look, you don't always ask questions to get an answer. Excuse me. Right? You don't always ask questions to get an answer. You ask questions to investigate. You can ask questions for the sake of the extrapolation. You don't need to have a certain answer. Sometimes you will, but sometimes you'll just go down a path of questioning. And I think, again, we've kind of got to a point where philosophical conversations aren't necessarily the norm, right? In day-to-day life, in texting, or in instant message. Is instant message even? You know what I mean? So, you see that a lot more with the podcasting now. But for me, there's the dialogue, but then there's kind of the solo reflective approach as well. So I think both are good. And what I realized was driving wasn't giving me enough time. It wasn't giving me enough time. I was too much in my amped up state. I didn't get to cover things as in depth. I might have been distracted driving, thinking about getting to the gym on time. So what I realized was I needed to create this time. I needed to create this time for myself outside of driving time to do this. And I needed to set it up in a certain way with better sound, lighting. Today I like how it looks. If you guys have any feedback on the lighting, let me know. That's kind of the more of the vision. So now let me get to today's topic, and it goes hand in hand. That's kind of what I'm trying to point out. So what I said is, I was reflecting on the power that we have when we become aware of choice. And let me give it in the context again of this. So a few nights ago, I was like super amped up. Not last night, the night before. So Wednesday night, super amped up. Again, some more context. So going back to the election, I was playing a lot of Fortnite. Right, I was playing way too much Fortnite, and I bigger picture, going back further, I had taken a break. I played this game. I started playing this game, I don't know, last year. It was, didn't play a ton, but it was a distraction. Sometimes it's Netflix. Just the end of the day, kind of like little sum up, like slow wind down time. I think that's important too. I don't need to be doing 2 or 3 hours every night. Maybe if there's one day where I'm a little bit more lazy and leisurely and sedentary, then that's fine. But for the most part, I don't need to do all that. So what I just realized? Hold on, I think I can set up my mic too with hold on. I can set up this mic to this phone. Blam, double mic. How you like me now? Wow, now I'm like really in business. Hold on, put this mic here, and I have another mic. Look at that. God, that was not on camera. Well, on Instagram it is. All right, so this mic goes into here. All right, now I'm gonna finish my story about Fortnite and such things. All right, I couldn't even get the stand for this. This is good. See, this is called getting more value out of my time, right? This is really producing something that is good. All right, hold on, bear with me. Instagram people get to follow me, but shit, the stand isn't there. Hold on, bear with me. Set this up. One second. Have it done. Instagram. My tripod here. All right. So now I got my tripod for my phone. Let's see. I'll show Instagram, Google, and Facebook. See Instagram, Google, and Facebook. So if you guys are hearing me, if you're seeing this live, if you can let me know how the sound quality is doing, I'd appreciate that. Again, this is kind of like my first trial run with this concurrent streaming, as they say. I got Instagram, I got Facebook, I got Google all set up. Blam. All right, there's that. So I basically was like, all right, early in quarantine, I was like, I'm spending way too much time playing Fortnite. You know, I need to, nope. App Store. I need to get an app for this mic. Thank you. Somebody out there said bless. So, 1 second. Okay, cool. All right, so, blam. All right, so basically, I got more followers on Instagram watching this than anything. So that's why I'm glad I'm doing the concurrent streaming here. So I was playing too much Fortnite. What's up, Arang? I see you. Professor. So look, I was playing too much Fortnite in the beginning of quarantine. I said to myself, I'm taking a break. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm going on a break. So I took a break from playing Fortnite, and I became so much more productive. And I basically been on a Fortnite fast, video games in general fast, since then. Started playing again around the beginning of the election, you know, when all the freaking news bullshit was going on. And I just said, I need a distraction. I'm going to play some more Fortnite. And that wasn't a good idea. Because it quickly became a habit. And it took up way too much of my time. Attention, affected my sleep. It was definitely became quickly addicted. And so Wednesday was the first night I decided, I basically on Tuesday, I had a small dinner. Said Tuesday night is my last night. I'm going on a Fortnite fast, video game fast again. I worked last time, I'm doing that again. So Wednesday night was my first night, no video games, no Fortnite, no sitting on my computer for too long, right before I went to sleep. And let me tell you guys, like, my energy went through the roof. And I hadn't worked out because I'd been cooking for a bunch of days straight. Like I said, my gym had closed. So my energy went through the roof. And this is when I started really, thank you, Click It Social. I see you. I appreciate that. Thanks for following. Thanks for watching. So when I realized that, when I started to experience that I got all this energy Wednesday night, and it wasn't expected, and it was needed. I really needed it, but I wasn't expecting to feel like that. I had a sudden surge of energy, and so basically, I realized this is good, right? Like that was a good choice. Now I just got to direct this energy. And that was really what got me onto this idea of becoming aware of choice. Because up till that point, for weeks, I've been in this routine of it's 9 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock, it's 11 o'clock, play Fortnite for 2-3 hours till I go to sleep. Choice, you no longer have, when you're like that about something, now their choice is gone. Like you can at any point, say, oh, I'm gonna stop playing, I'm gonna go. But usually it's not like that. And it might not be Fortnite, it might not be video games for you. We all have our things that are our routines, that are our habits that we keep doing again and again, and like auto-programmed, right? So it's not to say you're not gonna have any. But make sure that sometimes it's good to take fasts. Or sometimes it's good to include one thing that's different than the rest. Like from your routine, like each week do one new thing. You know, try something new every week. Thanks everybody for checking in on Instagram. I see everybody. Appreciate you. So, this is kind of like a super, super crucial idea, because once you start recognizing, all right, it's not just that I have choice. Everybody, I think, would say they know they have choice to an extent, right? Like, you don't have a choice. If you want to drive a car, you don't really have a choice to have a driver's license or not. Of course, you can drive without a driver's license or without insurance, but what are the consequences? And the truth is, almost everything in life is like that to some degree or another, right? And again, this is where I go back to this being much more philosophical, where we're talking like way bigger picture, deeper concepts here, but they have an equally deep and significant impact potentially upon your life. Because when you recognize, again, that one, you may know you always have choice, but it doesn't mean you're always in a position to choose, right? So that's different. Like when I'm sitting there playing Fortnite, not getting up from my massage chair for 2 or 3 hours, like I'm not choosing really. Like I am, like they, in philosophy they say to not choose is still a choice. But to what degree and like how active is my choosing, right? It's much more passive. It's that already in momentum. It's that already. I see you, Vendy. Yeah, same to you, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for dropping a note. I appreciate that. So, that's how things work, guys, ladies and gentlemen. So all of a sudden on Wednesday night, I was like, I should jump on and do a training video. And mind you, like I had all this energy, but it was also kind of weird because I was like, I'm not really in a position to like be like doing. It was like 11:30 at night. I'm like, I should do a live bit right now. People think I'm gonna crack it. Which it's like I don't function. I don't try to be normal, right? I don't try to. I was talking to somebody today about being almost 40, and I said like compared to the average 40-year-old, but I'm like I don't really want to compare myself to the average. I want to compare myself to the peak performers. I want to compare myself to the elite level of whatever I'm doing. That's who I want to look at as my comparison. Not that compare. We say compared to the average. And it's like, well, hopefully you're above the average, right? And like average is in the middle. That's 50%, right? That's not good. 50% isn't good. Like 97, 98, 99 percentile, right? Like just, I'm not saying in a moral sense. I'm not saying, good 50, 99% is always, right? There's always an exception. You don't understand what I mean? But if you're trying to excel in something, you want to be in the percentile with the people who are excelling. So, and understanding that's a whole other topic, but that's a huge one. We go way more into depth with that one. And again, macro picture, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm setting this up like the real deal Holyfield, where I'm jumping on, I'm dedicating time, I'm watching what the other people excelling in this space are doing. I'm setting my situation up accordingly. And I believe it's going to bear results. I believe it's going to bear fruit because I listen to these guys and I'm like, man, I can relate to a lot of this. I can relate to what these guys are saying. I get it. I hear them. Like this connects on a lot of levels and I learn and it educates me and it reaffirms a lot of stuff for me. Certain things I might, like my chef area of my life, I can be like, yeah, I already got that point or something in a business. In another area, I'm like, wow, I have no idea what that feels like. Making multi-millions a year. Like, what does that feel like? I'd like to try that. That'd be cool. In the health thing, it's like I might have one thing already, but I don't have another thing. Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna try that out. So that's how I approach it. Right? I approach it like a student. I approach it like someone who's always learning. And that goes hand in hand with the choice, right? Because now it's like, okay, I can see what these other people do. Let's just say for podcasting. They consistently get in front of the camera and create content. They have it on their YouTube. They have it on their Facebook. They have it on their constantly, consistently. Because exposure is real, right? Exposure is what matters. A lot of times we think it's the message. And the message, of course, has to be there. The message has to be on point and something that people are looking for, something people are interested in, something that catches people's attention, how the stories are.
but how much you're out there, there's so many people doing this right now, right? So even if I'm not like, oh, I want to monetize it, I want to win in the business game, which like, sure, longer term, definitely. But right now I'm building my own consistency with it, because there's no way it happens besides me being consistent. Two, extrapolating and exploring my own thoughts, right? I derive personal value from doing this, right? I also have people come back to me and say, wow, thank you for doing this. It might not be about the same thing that I get value from, but they might get something else of value from it. 2 different people, 3 different people listening can get 3 totally different values from this. So, and there's a bigger macro, and this is where it's kind of like that Kaz effect, that ripple that comes back, right? It's like the pulse. There's something so powerful to that idea. And when I say idea, I don't mean conceptually only, like the way it actually works in the world. When you see that, when you experience that, one of the ways I experience that often is I'll sit down to work on a project. Let's say it's contacting my clients to get more work. A lot of times what happens is I will get some work out of that. Some new work will come in, but it's not related to what I just did. It's like if I sent out 20 messages, none of those 20 people will contact me, but someone else will, out of the blue. It's like every time it's like that. When I put in the energy, when I put in the work, when I put in the time. So understanding that, it's like, okay, one, like I said the other night, I'm like, okay, I should go on and do a video. It wasn't, even though I didn't do it right at that moment, one, I had the inclination. And I was like, that's significant. It's like yourself posting a help wanted sign in something, right? It's like you go in and check out, you need help? Like, what are you guys looking for? Maybe they're offering $1 million. You never know, right? So, if you see an opportunity, basically learning to jump on it. If you see a moment that, it's like there's some clarity, there's some insight, you get energized, that's all, as I see it, a degree of this is intuitive. And when you start tapping into that, it doesn't mean you're going to, hit 1,000. But let's say you get to 500, let's say you get half of those things turn into something. And I'd say the percentage is more than half, to be honest. I don't want to say exact, but I think so. So if you're not sure what I mean, you just have to learn to become more intuitive. And the way you do that is by observing yourself and observing, not even yourself, like just when things come up for you. And a good way to do that is, like I recommend a lot, I suggest a lot, leaving your phone off for parts of the day, taking time in silence, definitely, of course, training. But when you train, if you have good ideas, write them down or put them down in your phone and your notes. Anytime you have good ideas and thoughts, try to get them down, and even recording them like this or a voice memo, that's a good way to record, because they'll go away fast. Like if you don't catch it, a lot of times you lose it really fast. That's really good because that's content, that's value, that's that's insight. Insight is like the key. So again, now this is me recognizing, I know the idea, the big picture, but then it was in the immediate where I had that experience where I actually had an insight, which was jump on and, start putting some of this time that just became available to me, and my schedule change, again, more macro, immediately affecting my immediate, again, going with the change, directing me in the right direction, rather than, like I said in the beginning, the change being against me, which is how I took it. You watch this whole video back to the beginning. That's what happened is I had some changes and I didn't receive them. Like I didn't allow, I basically wasn't being receptive to them. There were changes that were beyond my control and I resisted. And so it took a little while, but the downswing leads to the upswing, right? Especially if you get back to what works. Nutrition, training, fitness, movement, every time. So, a lot, I've said a lot. I know I've kind of gone a little bit tangential. This is going to be an ongoing series. I just want to make sure I wrapped up the whole long story there. So, I went from all the way back to talking about Fortnite and how I got on this Fortnite fast and I got energized. So yeah, let me just wrap up the story. So basically, I left you with, I had the insight to do this the other night, and then again I had it yesterday, and then I was honestly like, I was too tired. It was late at night. I trained like 4 hours, something like that. But again, I had the insight, and I said, I need to make that time. I need to make that time. And so I just went ahead and I said today I was actually about to take a nap because I've been working all morning, hustling, getting things done, making it happen. And yeah, long story short, I got this all done. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make the time now. And I was trying to think of like, what topic do I want to talk about? I was on this idea of like, I want to talk about this story. I want to talk about this actual experience as like, what's the lesson, right? So the lesson was, again, when that change happened, I'm not saying you can go so easy with any shift, or I can, but it's like when I got back to like getting my mind right, doing what I needed to do, like how quickly things started to line up, how positive, uplifted the situation was, and how I almost needed to be down, how I needed to be a little depressed for a moment to like bounce way back, fast, high, like energized, pumped up. And it's not like it's not based in nothing. It's based in, one, good habits, and then two, things being produced that are good in the immediate, and two, over the longer term. So, and then, like I said, just making this the new thing. So instead of doing this while I'm driving now, this is going to be my daily routine, And honestly, I've been like doing Monday through Friday. I'm not going to skirt the weekends if I can, which I mostly can, but if I can, because essentially then what it'll allow me to do is, if I miss a day, because I'm like, it's sometimes on the days I'm cooking, unless I do it like right off the bat, which I can, but it might be a gradual progression. But the days that I'm cooking, sometimes it's just too many things. And doing it late at night, I realize I'm not as clear-headed, I'm not as focused, I'm not as sharp. So, and I don't really, again, the point of this is to give you, my insight, my thinking on certain things, and hope that, it falls on some people who, are looking for this sort of information, to be honest, that are getting value from this. I'm not, like, part of it is an exercise in my own mental acuity. So, some of it is that, for sure. But some of it also is like a big part, at least 50%, is to give value to anyone who gets to check this out. So, I encourage, if you know someone who you're like, wow, like my friend, my family member, whoever, somebody would derive value, someone needs to hear this. A lot of what I do is in mentoring, and I love to, impact people in that way. I get asked to mentor people through capoeira, get asked to mentor people through culinary, but all of it really goes back to mindset. So, when you help people develop their mindset, no matter what they're into, their life's going to change if they're committed. So that's all, I wanted to jump on and again, talk to you kind of about how I got to this point, how the bigger picture of stuff has really been leading to my overall growth and change and progress. And just the path isn't straight, right? The path isn't just exactly one way all the time. It's not one terrain. It's not one elevation. It's not one weather, climate, not one temperature. The path changes a lot. And sometimes you need to rest, right? You don't walk for nonstop. You don't run nonstop. Sometimes you need to rest. And then find a nice place, rest for a little bit. Need to, sick, injured, rest. And then keep going. And then like sometimes you get through a bad terrain or a bad climate, challenging part of the path, and there's another pretty part of the path, another beautiful, another wonderful part of the path, another place with all this food to eat. Time to just take it in and don't have to hustle. And then, storm comes in again. So this is the routine of how it works. This is the process. These are the cycles. So learn in the process, implement, set yourself up for, to be in the best position when things challenge you. Know what your best habits are, your best practices are. Have some pieces in place maybe you didn't last time that you're like, dang, I should have had that in place. And also enjoy while you're in the sweeter spots, when things are going well, when there's a fluidity, when things are smooth. But don't get too addicted to that. Don't get too comfortable there, right? Continue to push yourself so that if things do challenge you, you don't feel so strained. I think I'm going to leave it there. I was aiming to go about 30 to 40 minutes. We're about 36 minutes here. So if you have any thoughts, questions, feedback, insights, comments, questions you'd like me to address, if you'd like to know about anything that I can offer you, nutrition, meal planning, cooking, training, mindset, travel, stories, whatever you're interested in, leave me a comment. I'm gonna what's up, Elliot? I see you, brother. Appreciate you joining me on here on Instagram. I got a lot of Instagram today. I wonder if I can stream live my Instagram too on the computer here. Let me check that out real quick. Instagram. I know I can get my Instagram. I don't think I can post on Instagram desktop. I could do it from a tablet. Set up another one. All right. Well, you can do messages. Let's see. No, I don't think so. So we'll figure that out. We'll get one more stream going for the next time. But hope you guys have enjoyed, gentlemen, ladies, guys, gals, all people, and whoever watched this. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Today's Friday. I'm gonna aim to do this again tomorrow. All right, maybe even again later today. But one a day has been one. That's a good start. All right, peace. Kaz out. Blah blam. You know how we do it. Now the challenge is going to be to end all these streams in all the places. All right. Talk to you